Hello, everybody. Welcome to Saturday Night Live Art Shows. I'm Marianne Benoit, and I'm an interior designer and energy artist in Seward, Alaska. And tonight I wanted to share with you a new piece, which I call Adaptability. And it is behind me here, and it's the first in a new series of art that I'm doing on animal wisdom and the lessons that we can all learn from animals if we're just willing to listen to what they have to tell us. And I decided to start creating this series because I'm thinking of creating a new Oracle card deck. I shared a previous Oracle card deck with you a month or two ago, and I wanted to do another one called Messages from the Animals. And the emphasis is going to be on Alaskan wildlife mainly. And this is very close to my heart. All the animals that I'm going to put in this deck or create art for are animals that I've had some kind of personal experience with. I'm not sure if any of you realize, but I worked as a wildlife biologist for close to 30 years. Some of that was in Arizona. At least 20 years of that was in Alaska. And so all these animals that I want to create art about are animals that I've seen firsthand in the wild. So I've had one-on-one experiences with them, actually experienced their energy, and I can tell you, it's a totally different experience when you see them in the wild than when you see them in a picture or see them in the zoo. Especially for things like brown bears. So I have my own impressions of the energy of these animals, what they emit, what that experience was like, that connection that happened when I saw them in their native habitat. And I want to portray that feeling and what I have learned about them in my art. There's a lot of information, or maybe not a lot, but there's information out there about different meanings, spiritual meanings that different cultures have about various animals and what they mean in those cultures. And so I've kind of looked into the messages that animals impart and what it means to other people, which is all very interesting. And have some of that in this deck, but at the same time I feel like the most important thing is for me to impart the energy that I felt and I experienced myself when I create these pieces of art. And by creating these pieces, my hope is that there's something that you can learn from these animals, and by putting a piece of art like this in your home and into your own interior design, it's an opportunity not only to make your space beautiful, but if that's a particular lesson that can be learned from that animal is something that you need or you want to incorporate in your own life, for your own journey, it's kind of like this beautiful reminder to you to remember that, to think about that thing and promote it in your own life. So this first piece called Adaptability, and here's how I described it. Embrace the wisdom of the Arctic fox, embodying adaptability and resilience. Learn to blend in when necessary. Be resourceful and patient in your endeavors, and find joy even in challenging times. Navigate life's changes with grace, knowing that your adaptability will lead to triumph. So why did I call it that? I mean, what is so adaptable about Arctic foxes? Well, for one thing, they totally change colors based on the season. So in the summertime, they are the color of the earth. And in the winter, they turn totally white so that they blend in with the snow. And in my experience with them, they strike me as also being very adaptable to changing circumstances and looking at those circumstances for what's in it for them, how can they make the most of this change. And they seem to be very curious and smart and brave. So I've seen an Arctic fox twice up close, and both times I was surprised at how bold and curious they were. And they seem very focused on what opportunities might be available for them at the time. So the first time I saw one, I was backpacking through backpacking through Denali, and I was with a friend, and we were at the top of this mountain, and we're looking down at the river below, thinking, oh, we need to find a trail to get down there, because we wanted to hike along the river to go to where we were going to camp. And we kept seeing all these birds, and so we were getting our binoculars and looking down there and going, well, what is going on down there? And then finally we see, oh, it's a mother brown bear with 2 cubs, and there's a kill down there, and they're coming in and out of this kill site. And so we realized, apparently we're not going there. We're going to have to find a different route to where we're going than what we had planned. So we started to side hill across this mountain, and that's when we saw this Arctic fox who was just kind of following us and watching and looking and very curious, like, who are you and what are you doing? And probably was thinking, okay, do you have any food maybe for me? And so it just kind of stuck close by. It was out of reach, but it followed us and watched us for quite a ways. I'm assuming as we were going through its territory, it was keeping an eye on us and trying to see if there was an opportunity for it in some way for food. Then the second time I saw one, I went on a canoe trip in the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge, and we flew in to this remote area and landed. We were in a little plane, and we landed on a beach where we were being dropped off with all of our gear. And so as soon as I got out of the plane, I needed to go use the bushes real quick, which was my first indication I was going to need full body mosquito netting for that trip, because it was like insane with mosquitoes. But as soon as I was done and I looked up, I see this Arctic fox, and he's just sitting there staring at me, just like in this picture, just staring, going, who are you? What are you doing here? Do you have anything for me? And it was very brave, and it's such a beautiful animal. But I was just surprised. It was probably maybe 30, 40 feet away, just sitting there staring. And so here we are at the end of the earth, and I'm guessing this fox had probably seen people before, and in any case, the circumstances for the fox had been changing if more people were coming into its habitat. I'm sure there were not lots of people going in up there, but it had already figured out that maybe there's an opportunity here. And so adapting to changes and making the most of things. So very interesting and beautiful animals. Anyway, now I'd like to, I think I've told you all of my encounters with them, which I will always remember, such beautiful animals. And so now I'm going to show you a room that I designed and created as a place to put this art. So I hope you enjoy. It gives you an idea of what you could possibly do if you wanted to put this message of adaptability into your space. And so I guess the way you could think about using is that if you would like to learn to be more adaptable and resourceful and patient in your endeavors, even when times are challenging, and figure out how to navigate life's changes with more grace, knowing that in the end, by doing that, it's going to get you closer to your goal of where you're going, then this would be a great piece of art to put into your space. And when you see it, you can think about what it means and imagine your own experience with an Arctic fox. So I hope you enjoy.